Has life ever caught you off guard? Some things you just can't see coming. Jesus taught us how to be prepared no matter what. Jesus said, watch for traps and pray. Good morning and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point, well, it's to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus said comes from Matthew 26:41 and Luke 22:46. Before we read that this morning, I just want to take just a second here and thank you, all of those who have been praying for our grandson Milo and for the family. I just really want to let you know that support has meant so much. So thank you for that. So back to today's Jesus said, watch for traps and pray. Matthew 26:41, Jesus said, stay awake and pray that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And then a very similar passage, Luke 22:46. So he said to them, why are you sleeping? Get up and pray that you will not fall into temptation. Now the context here, Jesus was in the Garden of Gethsemane before his crucifixion, and he had brought his inner circle with him to pray and asked them to stay awake. And then he went back after an hour and said, why couldn't you stay awake for just an hour? Now Jesus knew what those disciples were about to face. He also knew what he was about to face, and that's why he was praying that he would be able to withstand the things that were coming. And he knew that the disciples would need strength to face what they were about to face. So what did they need to face the trouble that was on the way? They needed to watch and pray, but they didn't. They slept. And so when the going got tough, they got going. All of the disciples ran away. If the last couple of years has taught us anything, it's that we don't really know what's ahead. We sometimes can't even imagine the difficulties that we will face. So how do we avoid the traps? Life is filled with traps. You can see the traps everywhere. I don't know if you've seen that cell phone video where a person is watching their cell phone and they're walking down the street and they just fall into a hole that a construction site has left there. Sometimes that's how we go through life. We're not really paying attention, and the traps in life, the temptations of life, catch us off guard. But Jesus said, watch, pray, so we won't fall into temptation. If we have the right focus, if we keep our eyes on Jesus, we won't blindly stumble into the traps. But our flesh, our humanity, our emotions, and our selfish desires are the biggest trap in our way. And Jesus said the spirit is willing, but it's the flesh that's weak. That's why we need to watch and pray. And Jesus asked the disciples, couldn't you stay awake? Couldn't you pay attention for an hour? They needed that time of prayer because our flesh is weak. And I want to ask, what would Jesus ask you today? What would he ask me today? We need time with Jesus. Would Jesus be asking, couldn't you even spend 5 minutes on me today? Couldn't you read the Bible even 5 minutes today? Couldn't you show up for church just once a week? Watch and pray so that you can see the traps. We need time with Jesus. And Jesus said where 2 or 3 are gathered together in his name, he is there. So we need time with other Jesus followers as well. An hour a day may seem impossible, but be honest. How much time are you actually setting aside each day? And how can you increase that so you can watch and pray and avoid the traps of life? Well, the key is to start small. Jesus said in Luke 16:10, the one who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much. And the one who is dishonest in a very little is also dishonest in much. If you aren't setting aside time every day to be with Jesus, start small and be faithful with it. 5 minutes a day. If you are doing something but need to add more, add another 5 minutes. Put it on your calendar. Set your alarm 5 minutes earlier. Make a place to shut out distractions. Make a commitment to do that for maybe a week. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. We need to watch and pray. That's where the power to resist comes from. Is Jesus trying to wake you up and asking, couldn't you even spend an hour in prayer? Watch for traps and pray. That's what Jesus said. How can you put that into action today? Thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it really means a lot to me if you like it, if you share it, and if you comment. I really, really appreciate you. Hope you have an amazing day, and I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest the Jesus way. So remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.